Final update. On my birthday, Mom said, "We sold your car and cashed out your college fund. Your brother deserves a fresh start." Then she slid over a loan agreement. Co-sign his $25,000 debt or get out. I didn't argue. I just packed. By morning, they found the letter I left behind. Now my brother's panicking, Dad's driving around looking for me, and Mom's crying in the kitchen. But what I didn't know, what I couldn't have known, was that while I was driving toward the next chapter, something was unraveling back at home. Something they'd been hiding, something I was never meant to find out. I didn't check my phone again for 3 full days. I stayed off the grid, more or less, parked at rest stops, crashing in the car when I needed to, scribbling notes about essays I wanted to write, stories I wanted to finish. And for the first time in years, I wasn't writing for school or approval or family praise. I was writing for me, my own voice, my own name. I finally turned my phone back on in a library parking lot 2 towns over, just long enough to check messages, make sure there wasn't some emergency that needed my attention. That's when I saw it. 13 missed calls from Aunt Jen, 4 from Claire, 1 from an unknown number that had a location tag from a local police department. I felt the weight of it immediately, the dread, the pulse in my neck, the instinct that whatever was coming next wasn't just petty family drama. I called Claire first. She answered immediately. "Alex? Thank God. Are you okay?" "I'm fine," I said slowly. "What's going on?" There was a pause on her end. Then, "You should sit down." I stayed standing. "It's Dad," she said. "He's in the hospital. He collapsed at work yesterday. Apparently it was his heart, stress. The doctor thinks. They had to call 911. My stomach dropped. For a moment, everything around me, the trees, the concrete, the sun, just froze. "I'm not saying you have to rush back," she added quickly. "I just thought you should know. You're his son. No matter what happened." I stayed silent for a long time. She didn't fill the silence, she just waited. "Is he stable?" I finally asked. "Yeah," she said. "For now." I hung up without promising anything. I sat in my car for a full hour, staring at the steering wheel, trying to feel something other than the thick fog of confusion. I didn't hate my dad. He had always been the quieter enabler, the man who didn't scream, didn't throw things, but never stood up for me either. He just stood by, let it happen. But part of me remembered the late nights when he'd bring me tea while I studied, or silently fix something in my room without saying a word. A part of me remembered when he taught me how to change a tire, back when I thought that meant he believed I'd be going places. So I drove. I didn't tell anyone I was coming. I just showed up at the hospital, unshaven and exhausted, still wearing the same hoodie from days before. I asked the front desk for James Walker. The nurse looked at me, then at her screen, and said, "Room 308. I found it after getting lost twice. Inside, Dad was pale, thinner, older than I remembered, like the last few weeks had aged him by years. He was asleep. Mom sat beside him in the recliner, hunched and quiet. When I walked in, she looked up, and for the first time in my life, she looked small. Not weak, not helpless, just small. "Alex," she breathed, like she wasn't sure I was real. I didn't say anything. She stood slowly. "I didn't think you'd come." "I didn't come for you," I said. "I came for him." She flinched, then nodded. "He was asking for you," she said quietly. "Even when they put him under, he kept saying your name." I stepped forward slowly. Dad stirred, eyes fluttering open like they were fighting gravity. When he saw me, something in his expression broke. "Alex," he rasped. "Yeah," I said, sitting in the chair Mom had been in. "It's me." He blinked slowly, like he wasn't sure I was really there. I'm sorry." I didn't answer. I just let him keep talking. I should have stopped her. I knew it was wrong, but I didn't want another fight. She said it was just for a month, that we'd replace it. "It never is," I said. "With her, it's never just once." "I know," he whispered. "I know that now." We didn't say much else. Just sat there, existing. That was enough. After a while, I left. I didn't want to talk to Mom, and she didn't try to stop me. But as I passed the nurse's station, one of them flagged me down. "You're James Walker's son?" she asked. "Yes." She hesitated. "There's something you should know. His insurance is a mess, claims denied, late payments. There's a backlog going back 6 months." I frowned. He's always had coverage through his job. She gave a tight smile. "It might be worth looking into. He's still listed as the guarantor on some accounts, but someone's been moving funds around. It's unusual." My gut turned cold. I thanked her, left the hospital, and drove straight to the credit union that still held one of my parents' joint accounts, the one my name was accidentally still attached to because I had been a minor when it was opened. I sat down with a banker, showed ID, explained I needed to see recent activity. She handed me a printed sheet, and what I saw made my hands tremble. Thousands of dollars in cash withdrawals, transfers to unfamiliar accounts, the biggest one, $11,000, sent to a name I didn't recognize. I looked closer. It wasn't Ethan. It wasn't Mom. It was Aiden Quinn. I didn't recognize the name until I remembered. That was the last name of Mom's coworker, the friend she always texted during dinner, the one Dad once asked about, and she said, "Oh, don't be jealous. He's married." Except he wasn't. I spent the next 2 hours at the bank and the library downtown. I pulled public records. I searched everything. Aiden Quinn was real, divorced recently, moved out of state. And 5 months ago, the same time those big withdrawals started, he bought a second home in New Mexico with help from a $30,000 wire deposit. Under my mother's name. It all snapped into place, the sudden decision to sell my car, the demand to co-sign, the missing tuition money. It wasn't just for Ethan. Mom had been siphoning money, setting herself up, preparing an escape plan. But when I refused to sign, refused to stay, it all collapsed. She gambled with my future, with my dad's stability, with Ethan's debt, not for the family, but for herself. And now Dad was in a hospital bed, wondering why his credit cards were failing. I went back to the hospital the next morning and told him everything. He didn't say a word, just stared ahead at the wall, his expression crumbling inch by inch. When I was finished, he nodded once, just once. Then said, "Get me a lawyer." That afternoon, Claire and I helped him sign a power of attorney document. He removed Mom from every joint account. He froze the credit lines, filed fraud paperwork, reported the wire transfers, and filed for divorce the next week. She never saw it coming. Ethan tried to reach out again a few days later, a text. This time, "Mom's moving out. She says you destroyed everything." I didn't respond. A month later, I officially moved into student housing, re-enrolled in university, and accepted a scholarship increase after submitting my revised story. The title, "When the Ones You Love Build a Cage and Call It Home." It won an award. Dad is healing slowly. Claire visits often. We're not a perfect family. Maybe never were. But the parts worth saving are still here. As for Mom, she sent me one last message. No apology, no explanation, just, "I hope someday you understand why I did what I had to do." I deleted it. I didn't need to understand. I needed peace. And now, I finally had it.